All right, so I'm on a roll today. It's been a while since I did 2 videos. This is the second. I'm just doing them back to back. Different topic. This particular topic, I just don't have an opportunity on Sunday mornings to really share everything that happens behind the scenes in my life. A lot of struggles, a lot of busyness in life, and trying to find balance and seek the Lord in the context of the craziness, trying to disciple family, trying to make an impact for Jesus. I mean, always trying to make an impact. In the military, I'm not denying that there are many job positions and that they are all needed and necessary for an offensive, like in Iraq, for example. Like, think about Desert Storm, ousting Saddam Hussein. You need supply. You need individuals who are going to refill the vehicles. You need mechanics. There are hundreds of job skills when it comes to military intelligence and all of that. But you also absolutely critical need individuals on the front line who are going to shoot bullets downrange at the enemy. So without shooting bullets, you're really not advancing. You're really not you're not accomplishing it. You're not advancing into the kingdom of darkness if you're not actively engaged on the front line. And I think the American church, what's so easy to do, it's so easy to get complacent and sit in the rear. Think about a Civil War camp. You've got the units that are on the front lines marching across the field to exchange volleys with the enemy. And then you've got the cooks and the supply sergeants and everything way in the back. Or let's say you've got units in reserve that are playing cards. They're sitting around the campfire. They're eating, they're joking. They're writing letters. And I feel like the American church is sitting in the camp hundreds of yards behind the front lines. And there's very few soldiers for Christ who are actually on the front lines and are willing to charge the darkness. And there's because there's very few of them, it's a very lonely place to be. And you've got to be self-motivated. Now, in Iran, for example, there are no churches. So you don't have the luxury of just sitting around playing church, because that doesn't exist. You are an individual rogue, behind enemy lines, special forces soldier for Jesus. You've got to find a way. And usually their communication is limited to what they watch on television. They get a Christian satellite broadcast. They study for a couple hours what's being broadcast from America. And then, because they don't have their own Bible, or maybe if they don't have their own church, they don't have that fellowship, that's all they get is through the satellite broadcast. And then they're leaving their apartment building. They're going to the park. They're talking to people in the lobby. They're going to work. And they are conducting an active operation of witness for Jesus Christ to spread the truth and spread the gospel and spread the good news. So I think Jesus is absolutely ashamed. I know people have me harp on this all the time, but it is literally the lifeblood. It is literally Jesus' heart to seek and save the lost. And very few people are doing it. Very few. I would say less than 5% of all Christians, all professing Christians, are actively engaged in at least twice a month sharing the gospel. Only twice a month. Now, there are people who are doing it every single day. Every single day. Now, we live in a pretty independent society. It's not like we're in China where we see hundreds of thousands of people every day as we're living in big city with 20 million people. So we're a little bit isolated, and that's definitely a problem. I would much rather prefer, I feel like I had greater fruit at a secular university or in the military, because you're rubbing shoulders with dozens of lost people on a daily basis. So you can have more opportunity. It's a lot harder when you live isolated, especially in the country, because you got to find a way, you got to find a place where you can be around people. And if that's not natural, you've got to overcome the unnatural feeling, the unnatural adjustment to your lifestyle to find a place where you are interacting with people on a regular basis. And that's the first thing. Number one, the most important thing that I would recommend to all believers is you have got to find 1, 2, 3 places. Now, it might fluctuate during the course of the year. You got to find at least one place where you can consistently interact, rub shoulders with people who are broken, who are hurting, who are lost, who do not know Jesus. If that's going to the same restaurant for breakfast every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, then do it. If that's joining the garden club, the whatever, if that's joining the school board, whatever. I mean, just go to the town meetings. If that's going to the beach a couple times and you just seem to get in great conversations with people at the beach, strangers at the beach, fine. That's fantastic. Be part of a bowling team. I don't care what you do. Volunteer at the high school. Just find a way to be... in this season, what works best for our family, because we got to stay physically fit. We feel better when we're physically and spiritually, physically strong. It affects us spiritually. We go to the gym. So at the gym, that's one of the places. That's one of the places that I've got, like fishing holes. So the second part of successful evangelism is learn to be friendly. And that does not come natural to me. That is much more natural to Kristen, but there's no excuse. I can't justify it. I can't say before Jesus, well, nobody ever taught me. That's not my personality. That's not my gifting. I can't say that. None of those excuses are going to be legitimate on the day I have to give an account to Jesus. I've got to find a way. He's like, Patrick, if you don't find a way, you might be the only person. If you don't find a way and that person dies, their blood is on your hands. Like you didn't do it. You were not acting as a faithful witness. And God knows I have passed 100,000, 200,000 lost people in my lifetime, and I have not opened my mouth. So we've got to be friendly, and friendliness takes time. It just takes building relationship, asking questions. It starts really simple at first, just saying hi, asking people their name, their background. Sometimes people have headphones in. It's really difficult to even get their attention. It takes tremendous amounts of time of just seeing people, same people, repetitiously, finally looking for that Holy Spirit given opportunity to make contact and just to find out somebody's name or to say hi or find something that you have in common or find out something about the person. And slowly over time, depends on how frequently you see them. If you see them on a daily basis, could go faster. If they're more of an open social person, could go faster. If they're more closed off, the more introvert, it's going to be a slower process. But I'm remaining, when I go out, I'm trying to remain sensitive to the Holy Spirit so that He'll lead and guide me. Sadly, many times when I go out, I'm not sensitive to the Holy Spirit. I'm focused on my plan, what I need to do, and I miss opportunities. And that is shameful. That's sad. That's why I always have to be in a spirit of prayer. Otherwise, I will not. My mind will be on worldly things and not spiritual things. So we got to find a place. We've got to be friendly, cultivate, show kindness, show love, serve other people. Just show kindness in your words, show kindness in your actions. And then when we get into conversations, over time, we need to learn to ask good questions, deeper questions. As I'm asking about people's family or I'm asking about people's background, I'm looking for follow-up questions that lead me deeper toward the heart. I'm always seeking to ask questions to discern where this person stands in regards to their heart. And God, what do you see about this person? Where are they out on their spiritual journey? So eventually, inevitably, in every conversation that I ever have, I will inevitably bring the conversation at some point, working up, praying for this person, bring it to the point where I can ask them, hey, John, Susan, whatever, have I ever asked you where you're at on your spiritual journey in this season of your life? Did you grow up with any kind of religious background? It's that simple. Just practice the question. Ask people about their spiritual journey, about their religious spiritual background. What do they believe? And they could say, I grew up Catholic, or I grew up going to church, but I don't want anything to do with it, ever since high school. And I would ask a follow-up question, like, oh man, that's, do you mind if I ask what happened? Like, well, my dad was claimed to be a big Christian, and he would drink and he would beat us, and then he divorced my mom. I'm like, man, gosh, that had to have been incredibly painful, How did you feel like your faith sustained you during that time, or did you feel like you got angry at God? I just ask follow-up questions. We have to be good listeners and ask questions. You don't have to preach. Much of evangelism is not preaching. I never preach, ever. What I do is I look for a place. At that place, I try to develop friendships. Once I develop friendships, I try to swing to spiritual things by asking good questions and just asking repetitive follow-up questions. And then, let me give you an example. I met this guy, we were talking, find out about his background. I asked if I could pray for him one time, and I pray a powerful prayer. It's really impactful for him, because next time he's there, he's looking for me. He actually wants to talk more. He's hungry. There's something different about this guy, about me. There's something different he's thinking in his head about this guy that came and prayed for me. He's talking to me. I want to know more. So a couple more workout times, I'm just building relationship. I'm not trying to press it too fast, building relationship. And then finally we get to the point saying, hey, why don't we next week, why don't we get together and we'll exercise together, and I can share a little bit more. Would you be open to that? And he's like, yeah, sure. That would be great. And so we get together, we get on the exercise machine, and for the next half an hour, I'm sharing the gospel. And he listened, not an immediate response, agrees with a lot, but it's going to take more time. But that was a step in the right direction. That was a sharing the gospel. And now I'm going to keep praying for him. I'm going to look for more opportunities to love him, encourage him, be a positive influence in his life, build relationship to give me that next window of an opportunity to share with him again. Another guy, I was unexpectedly walking past the gym and went in to talk to somebody else. Didn't talk to that person, but met another person that I had talked to a year and a half ago that I made a significant impact on their life. They went away for a time. They came back. He's hungry. He's ready to talk. He wanted to talk. He stopped his game, and he came over and talked to me like 45 minutes. Basically feeling him out and encouraging and seeing that he's so hungry. I said, hey, why don't we get together? Next time I come to the gym, I'll reserve an hour of time. Why don't we get together so I can invest in you? See, so I never preach on the spot. What I'll do, look for the place, have at least one place where you're rubbing shoulders with lost people. There, you got to learn to be friendly. And it's taken me years, and I'm still nowhere near. Some of my role models for friendliness put me to shame. So I got to grow in that area. The third thing is we've got to learn to ask good questions. And once I ask good questions, I find out about people. I always try to set up a time so that I'm prepared. I know what I'm going to share. Now, you can share your booklet. There's a 6-minute video clip out there that shares the gospel. It's called The Story. I'll put it as a link in this devotional video. Look at it. You can get on your phone. Hey, do you mind if I show you a 6-minute video clip that really summarizes who I am? And just play it for the person. You don't even need to share the gospel. So yourself, you can use media to do it. You can do it verbally. You can do it in written form, like a personal booklet tract. Or you can do it with media. So verbal, written, or electronic, like a media form. It's called The Story. I'll put it in a link below. You can listen to it. Share it with somebody. Find somebody to share it with. Ask them. So I ask questions. I set up a meeting time so we both know what we're with hungry people, with people who are open. I say, hey, John, would you ever be willing to sit down with me and hear what God has to say about that subject? Or John, do you mind if we sit down sometime and I can share with you like how God changed my life or the truth that changed my life? And if he says, yeah, then you set something up. And then you have plenty of preparation time. You know, going into the meeting, you're not forcing it on them because they agreed. And you can prepare ahead of time as to what you're going to share. And you can't share everything. Just share a couple verses. Have a couple verses prepared. Read a couple verses together. Show them the story. Give them your gospel tract booklet. Or go through a gospel tract booklet yourself. Just flip the pages and read it. Just flip the pages and read it to them. And the Holy Spirit will do the work. So it's really, really simple in those 4 steps. Find a place, be friendly, ask questions, and then once we ask questions, we set up a meeting time as the Holy Spirit's lead to really share more in depth. 3 ways: verbal, written, and video or electronic, media centered. So really want to encourage you. I've got 3 meetings later today. And I every time I go to the gym, I'm just praying, God, give me opportunities. I don't care about working out. I'd rather do more talking than working out. I mean, I love working out. I want to stay in good shape, but the urgency, there's an urgency. We need to be intentional. We need to be shooting bullets at Satan. We need to be running into the darkness of his realm, rescuing souls and bringing them out into the kingdom of light. That's what I want to see, a passion. There's too few people who are passionate about that. And we're all supposed to be like that if we are genuine, true disciples of Jesus Christ. Because that's Jesus' heart. And if Jesus lives in us, we should see that heart in every single one of us all the time. And we need to be running strong in that direction. All right. So let this be a challenge. Hopefully this was simple yet challenging. But you got to find a way. Find a way. Make plans. Sit down right now. Where can I invest? Who does the Holy Spirit want me to talk to and develop a friendship with? What's the next step? Ask the Holy Spirit. He'll tell you. Give him the time. Pray about this. Holy Spirit will bring it to mind.